Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. I'm sure you read the title and you're like, what the hell is this guy doing? So let me explain. So I have a really long history with DSMs. It was my first car. I've had 9 of them, and each one special in its own way, modified differently. Just so many different circumstances, different cars, different colors, different mods, different everything, different body styles, and I love them. I really do love them. And let me just start this video off by saying it's kind of complicated. So I can't just say, you know what, I'm tired of Eclipses, I'm tired of DSMs, I want something different. But I also can't say that I'm really going to be upset selling this car. So let me start first by saying that I obviously love Eclipses. It was my dream car. Obviously, like every other kid, I saw Fast and the Furious. I saw the green one, and it didn't appeal to me. The green Eclipse on Fast and the Furious didn't really appeal to me. But I started like seeing pictures of it, and I was like, ah, that's a cool car. And I wasn't crazy about the body kit. I wasn't crazy about the vinyls. And then I started seeing more grassroots DSMs. I started seeing them completely stock with just a nice lip around it and an intercooler, and they weren't completely modified and riced out. And I really liked it. I was like, that's a sharp looking car. I loved the interior. The interior of this car is just something that is like, it looks like an aircraft, you know? It back in the day, this thing was like so cool and modern looking, and it aged really well. It's a 99. It's just crazy. But there's a lot of things that, you know, didn't age well. A lot of DSMs right now are rotted out, or they're just torn apart and sitting in people's garages. And that's, let me also say that the big reason that I jumped on buying this Eclipse and getting another one is because I felt like I had to. It might not make sense, but so let me just cycle through my Eclipses. Every DSM I've owned. So my very first car was a 1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse GS. It was a white OZ edition. It was an automatic 420A non-turbo Eclipse. Then I got a red front-wheel drive 420A 5-speed Talon. So that was my first manual vehicle. Had a couple cars after that, and then I got into my first turboed DSM, which was a silver GST Spider. It was manual, front-wheel drive, turbo, so 4G63. First turboed car I ever owned, and my first turbo Eclipse. I loved it. I liked the convertible. It was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. Being a freaking 17-year-old kid driving around a turbocharged convertible was pretty cool. The car ended up blowing up. I literally tore the car apart. I built it back up from scratch, sort of like I did with this thing. You know, I tore out some of the interior pieces. I pulled the motor out, put a new motor in it, you know, new clutch, new turbo, new wheels, new brakes, a lot of stuff. I learned a lot on that car. That was my first car that taught me some things. And then I got to my next Eclipse, which was a red GST Spider convertible. So also turbocharged front-wheel drive, but this one was a lot cleaner than my last one. It had the tan interior, which I really liked, and it was just something of beauty to me. I loved the freaking thing. Then I kind of went south because I had some issues with the car, and I was just tired of working on it all the time. I was always late to work. I always had to call off to fix the car. Just stupid stuff. I was relying on it as a daily driver. So I got rid of that car and went through a couple other cars, and I was like, I really miss my Eclipses. I'm going to try and get an all-wheel drive one. So I got an all-wheel drive TSI Talon. The thing caught on fire on me on the way home because someone didn't take any care of it, and the rear differential was completely empty, no oil in it. So I drove it home bone dry, had no idea, and there was so much oil caked up on the rear diff, it caught on fire, burned up all the motor mounts in the back. So I replaced that, had the car for a little while, and the head gasket blew. So I got rid of that, waited around trying to find another one, couldn't find one, couldn't find one, couldn't find one. And then finally I found another red GST. And I was like, you know what? It was cheap. I was like, I'm gonna buy it, and I'm gonna turn it into what I want. So I got it, got the thing, jacked it up. The entire frame was completely rotted out. There was almost no saving this shell. So it was either keep the car and tear all the parts off it and find another shell, or just get rid of it. I decided to just get rid of it. I found an automatic 420A white Eclipse, almost identical to the first Eclipse I had. And I was like, I gotta buy this thing. I just felt like I had to buy it. I was like, I miss my first Eclipse so bad. Like, it's that sentimental value. Like, I was like, it looks like my first Eclipse. I should buy this thing. So I bought it. It had so many issues, it wasn't even funny. And I turned around, sold it for a couple $100, lost a lot of money on it. And was like, okay, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna wait around, I'm gonna find a really good one that's either completely together, or I'm gonna find a shell and I'm gonna build it myself. So then came along this Eclipse. Now when I got this one, it was a really big deal to me because I knew the guy who had it. It was really clean. This shell came from Florida, so completely free of rust because they don't salt the roads up there, don't have to. So there's no rust on this car. Basically the perfect start of something I wanted. Had a full interior, just no motor, and I was like, pretty clean shell. It didn't need a whole lot of body work. I was like, I can take this and craft it into exactly what I want it to be. So I dumped, I'm just gonna say the number. I'm gonna tell you the number. I bought the shell for $1,500. The shell came with, obviously the shell, the full interior. It came with the Evo Brembo Brakes, the HKS full turbo back exhaust, and the carbon fiber hood, if you didn't see the first video of me getting it. I had spent, I believe, just under $11,000 on the motor, the transmission, the clutch, all the aftermarket parts, the bolt-ons, the freaking seats, the gauges, the everything. Turbos. To date, I spent just under $11,000 on the car. So now you're like, why the hell are you selling it? I think, to me, as much as I love this car and as much as I care about these cars and they'll always have a place in my heart, I don't have the patience. I like a car that I can drive every day, enjoy it every day, have fun in it every day. So what I almost need is a nice, new, fast daily. When I had my 2015 WRX, I loved it. I enjoyed every minute of it. I never told anyone why I sold it. I lied a bunch of times. I told people I just sold it because I couldn't afford it, or I sold it because it had issues. That's not why I sold it. I don't want to go into detail on why I sold it, but I had to. I had no choice. Got rid of it, and I got the Nissan I have now. And that's when the opportunity opened up to get a project car. So when I got these Eclipse and I started tearing it apart and started doing everything I wanted, I was so excited. First time I took it out for a drive, I was like, okay, it's definitely an old car. Everything creaks, everything rattles, which is fine. But my problem is, it's supposed to be my fun car, my weekend car. And I want an exciting car all the time. So I get in this and I drive it every single day after work. I get home from work, I get in the car and I drive it. And it's putting a lot of wear and tear on it. So it's going to be more and more stuff breaking. I think for me, the reason I felt the need, like I felt, you know what, I need to get another one of these, was because I never got to enjoy it the way I should have. I never got to build it the way I should have. I never got the chance. I never had the money. I never had the time, the resources. This almost filled an empty spot in my heart. As corny as that sounds, this car, I did it. You know what I mean? I got a shell. I built it how I wanted it. If I could do this car different, the only thing I'd do different is obviously build the motor, give it a little more power, and different wheels. I hate the wheels that are on this car. I love everything else. I love the color. I love the way I set up the interior. I did it to spec how I wanted it. I had a car pictured in my head, and I built it. So why would I get rid of it? Well, I love the car. I do. But to me, there's some things going on right now that I'm like, maybe I should get rid of it. You know, I want a fast daily. So yeah, spoiler alert, I'm probably going to sell the Altima and get another Subaru or something. Probably a Subaru, if I'm being honest. Will I ever get another Eclipse? Probably. I foresee me getting another one because every time I see one, and I don't have one, I'm like, why did I ever sell that? I just think about the last Eclipse I had. I'm like, why did I sell that freaking car? Why did I sell every Eclipse I owned? And it's just crazy to think about all the DSMs I've had and all the money I spent on them and all the time. But the reason I'm so attracted to them and the reason I always come back to them might be for the wrong reasons. It's because I feel attached to it because it was the first car I learned anything on. It was the car that taught me everything. So while I pay a huge tribute to the DSM and why I love it and I'll always love it and might own another one someday, I just think that maybe I've grown out of it. Maybe I don't like it like I used to because my tastes have changed, everything's changed. But somewhere these cars will always, literally always impress me. They make stupid power under the right circumstances. They're nice cars. They're beautiful cars. And I know one day I might kick myself for it because I'm sure this car is going to go up and up and up and up in value. It already is. So another piece of note here, if you are looking for a DSM, you should get into one now. Because the value is going to go up and it's going to get harder to find one. I'm not going to throw any names out, but my buddy just bought one and he bought an OEM one with like 80,000 miles on it with like no mods. I think it had like an intake filter or something. He paid $24,000 for that car. So dig deep in your pockets because that's the price they're going for right now. Between $10,000 and $20,000 for one that's completely stock, perfectly clean, not rusted and unmolested. So it's gonna suck. It really is. I'm gonna miss the car, but I'm gonna make sure I sell it to somebody that is gonna take care of it and is gonna enjoy it. And who knows, maybe it'll end up on the channel again. Maybe I'll find it down the road at a car show or something and connect with the guy and get it on the channel and see, you know, what he did to it. That would be awesome. But for me, I just don't see this car in my life right now. That's just how it is. It feels like a bad breakup. It really does. I really appreciate all the support I got through this build. You know, I had a few rude comments, you know, and I had to deal with a couple of people like, you know, bashing on the color or bashing on something I did to it, or, you know, and that's going to happen with any build. But the people that stuck by me, you know, and you guys that have subscribed to my channel and been following my content and leaving feedback, and it's incredible, and you have no idea how much I appreciate that. So if you made it this far in the video, I just want you to know, like, you're important to me. The reason I started this channel was to inspire people. That's why I changed the name to Street Inspired, because I was always inspired by other people's cars, going to car shows and stuff like that, and it inspired me to build my own, and I'd get ideas off of other people, and that's what the car culture is all about. So I don't feel terrible about this, because I'm like, at the end of the day, hopefully I inspired some people. Hopefully I saved some Eclipses and some Talons. You know, hopefully there's some people out there that saw my videos and was like, you know what, maybe I'm not going to sell my car. You know what, maybe I need to go get one. Or so anyone that has been inspired by my videos, that seems to me like the biggest impact and the biggest treasure I could have got from this car. So if you stuck around, you watched the build, I hope you stick around to see what comes next and to see, you know, what else comes on the channel. But if you don't, I completely understand. If you came for the Eclipse and that's all you want to see, I'm glad you stuck around to check it out. And it was fun. It was a fun journey, and I'm sure I'll link up again with it one day. Or I got some friends that still have DSMs. It'd be cool to check theirs out, you know, and do some seat time videos with them and stuff. So but that's gonna be it for now. This will probably be the last time you see this car, at least me owning it. So like I said, I really appreciate it. I hope this video didn't get too long, but had to give myself some time to explain everything. Whatever happens next, whatever car I end up getting, wherever the channel goes, I hope you guys are there for it. And that's it. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope I didn't take up too much of your time, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.